Okay, working on rotor number 2 here. You know, I had a few people say, why didn't I cut this first? But as you can see, these are, it's probably 3/8 of an inch between these. You can see how many of them there are. I would have to go through with, I guess, I don't even think a jigsaw blade would be long enough because the sawzall blade wouldn't fit in. The plasma, I don't know what you'd have to do. You'd have to slice each one of them or something. You'd never get it cut. Bandsaw, this is what, 12-inch diameter or more. There's no way you can cut down in it. Chop saw, same way. There's no good way of cutting that. So this is really about the only way to do it. I don't know of any other way anyway, or I don't have anything. I mean, I could have done this on the mill, machined it off, but you know, you're probably looking at a little more time than what this is. But anyway, we're just gonna keep at it, keep cutting it. We'll have it off here for too long. Okay, I don't have the rotor off, so I can't go in and weld or tack it. I'm just playing with it while I was turning that other rotor. Pretty close. Like within 30,000, 25,000 maybe. Anyway, we're getting there. Shouldn't be too hard to get it to tap around and be perfect. You know, you're going to have some jumping up and down, so you know, if we can get it within 10, it'll probably be fine. Looking real good. All right, we're coming along. We'll get her here shortly. All right, so we're going to take a little break from turning out that rotor. I text my buddy from the one that actually works at GM and asked him what vehicle ran a single rotor without, you know, it's about a 1/2 inch thick or, you know, or so. And he told me to check this Chevrolet that I've got. And he's exactly right. No, it ain't that thick. It ain't thin. Well, it still may work. That might do it. Pretty good size too. That's 3/4. I don't know what the minimum thickness is. We'll have to see. Alright. Okay, the Chevrolet, the minimum thickness was 18.5 millimeter, which is going to be too much. They're too thick. So this is actually a Volvo, and the front's got the ones with the air, just like most of them do. This back is solid and thin. It feels like about a 1/2 inch thick. So I don't know what the trouble would be to get the lines made up. I don't know what. I'm going to be able to see under here. I don't know what a pretty simple setup. Really easy to mount. Steel line. So the steel line could be reflared. That wouldn't be a problem. So we've got one option right here for sure. And the way them bolt on, it'd be pretty simple. Because, you know, we don't need much. And the radius is not going to be the same, but, you know, I think we can get enough on there that it'll stop just fine. This is a S70. Let's see what else we can find. This may work better. This is the rear of a Range Rover. It's single thickness, and you know, there's not much space. I'd say it's about an inch or maybe less between you know, the outside of the caliper and the rotor. We'll see how this is set up. Alright, we've got a rubber line with a banjo fitting. It wouldn't be bad. The bracket would unbolt from the inside and stay on there with the slides. This is a little bigger rotor, so this might even be better. And we can deal with the banjo fitting. Actually, we could maybe use the rubber line and then come up to the steel line. Okay, I've got 2 of these Range Rovers, so I would probably take them off of the other one because I'm thinking about using this one for something eventually. But there's another one, and I can get the thickness on the rotor, and then we can turn the rotors to what we need. So that's not, I don't know, that might be just about as big as the rotor we're messing with, but we'll look around some more. Now here's another one. This is a Ford Explorer, and with an 8.8 rear in it, and don't see what gear it is on the tag, but it's been hit hard, and it may have bent the axle, but I don't know if it bent it or not. Usually they do, but calipers are still good on it, and it's got single thickness rotors. I don't think they're quite as big as the Range Rover though, so in diameter. I want to stay as big as I can get, but you know, it's another idea here. Okay, I didn't make it back quick enough to it. I got another tow to do, but I guess we're probably going to use the ones off of the Range Rover, and nobody can really complain that I'm using British parts on this car because it is a British car, so work out real good, I think. Okay, second rotor is done. You see a little notch in it. That's where they ground it to balance it. But anyway, somebody had said something about the weight, so I weighed this one beforehand, and they said they figured it lost 30%, and I'm going to say at least that, maybe more. Them fins in the center, there was a lot of them, and they were adding to the weight. So I weighed this beforehand. It was 32 pounds exactly. That's why I was saying they were so heavy. But now we're going to see if we've lost anything. I know we've lost about 16 pounds. Now this ain't real accurate, but we've actually lost half the weight of this thing, and which I don't doubt whatsoever. It might be 17 pounds, but it's about 16 or 17 pounds. So that's half the weight's going to help us out. We may turn a little more off here and there. Maybe in here a little bit to clearance the rotor, and I may surface either this side or the other side, one or the other, to try to get the studs to come through a little bit farther, because this don't have to be quite this thick. You know, we're not running it on that 1-ton ambulance anymore. So anyway, this one's done. My tow got put off for an hour or so, so I've got to go do it now, but I did get that finished. I'm going to go ahead and I got to do the other center for the wheel. I'm going to go ahead and get the rotors or the calipers off of the Land Cruiser, and probably just take the ones off of this one. I always have the other one down there, you know, if I end up using this, or you know, whatever. I just don't want to have to go down to the other storage lot. I think these are going to be in better shape. I can always replace them later, you know, if I decide to use that for something. And so I would rather just go ahead and grab them quick. They're close and they look nice and shiny, like someone might have just put them on there. So, and we're going to try to at least get a caliper mounted, and maybe I can get a video out to you tonight. All right, show you more. Okay, folks, I just got back off that tow, and luckily Noah was here, and he pulled the calipers off for me. So we've got them. They're going to work out really well. The rotors are actually thinner on that than they are here, so we'll turn these down to what we think is the maximum. And we might not even need to do that, but we'll go a little thinner. And they're going to fit in fine. Clearance wise, I don't think we're going to have any issues. Remember, if you ever do this, you know, if you put a caliper on, this has got to be the driver's side, because the bleeder's higher than the line. If you try to use this on the passenger side, and it bolts on and everything, but the bleeder would be lower than the line, and you'll never get all the air out of it, not without cracking the line. So you always want the bleeders up. So all we've got to do is basically make a bolt-on bracket that bolts these calipers to this. As you can see, the slides are there, and these are the brackets, and we'll use the same bolts that they had in it, and we'll just make us some plates that bolt to there to here, and you know, we'll figure it all out with poster board or whatever, and then once we get it done, we'll drill them and cut them out, and we'll have some calipers mounted. And also, while I was gone No, we got everything out of the car we needed. And I'm not sure we're going to use the coilovers, but we've got them anyway. But everything else there we need. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn out the center for the other rim real quick, and then we'll go from there and get the try to get you at least one caliper mounted tonight. All right, we got number 2 pressed in there, just barely in. So now we're going to go ahead and pull this rim off, and I didn't get it exactly perfect, got it close, but when that quick, I'll show you real quick. Okay, you see it's at it's about 28. When it jumps fast like that right there, okay, that tells you that there's an imperfection there, and there's no way that, you know, it's going to be lined up all the way around right. Okay. Anyway, we'll get it figured out, but that was just temporary anyway, just checking it out. So I'm going to take this wheel back off, and then we're going to see if we can get a caliper in there real quick, and we'll go from there. Okay, folks, looks like they're going to fit, but I'm going to have to be spot on with my bracket. And what I'll do is I'll space between the caliper and the rotor on each end of it exactly right, and then I'll build my bracket and build it right, but I'll show you how much clearance is in there. So, we probably got a 1/4 inch we can play with, but just want to make sure we get it right. Now this will be clocked back here, of course, and it fits the rotor perfect. There's not going to be any issues there. It's going to have full pad contact and should work out really well. So next is spacing it. We'll get it clamped on there to where it can't go anywhere, and then I'll start fabricating, or not fabricating, but then I'll start drawing out my bracket on a piece of poster board as a template. So alright, show you more. Okay folks, I've got it on, but I'm going to show you how I done it, even though I didn't video it. Okay, what I done, without the rim on and with the caliper on, now I moved the calipers to the front first instead of the back, and the reason I done that, I actually used the driver's side caliper on the passenger side so we'd have our bleeder up top. The reason I done that is because we've got to have room back here for coilovers, and I brought it up a ways because we have got to change this to get our pinion angle right, and I didn't want to hit our suspension. So that's taken care of. Alright, what I actually done was put 80 thousandths, made some 80 thousandths shims, and I put them between the caliper and the rotor, and then I actually put it on over the rotor, and then I actually put air pressure on it, and that clamped it shut and was able to hold it in place. So after I'd done that, let me find my little pattern here and I'll show you. Then I just made me a little pattern. I played with it and got it in there where I wanted it to be able to fit my, or get my main thing was my bolt distance. Actually it goes like this, but to get my bolt distance and from here to here away from each other. Now as you can see, it's close. Let me see, I think I've got a light here, maybe I can shine it in there. It's probably at least 3/16 away, so there's going to be no issues there. Clear's fine, works good. So far what we've got is, well, I've got to make the other bracket, and then I got to take this one back off and grind it and finish it up. I mean, I've got it on there and got it lined where I want it. It's good and strong. I ended up doing 1/4 inch, which is plenty, and should work out really well. And let me see, I've got so we've got a Dodge rear end, we've got Chevrolet rotors, we've got Range Rover Discovery calipers, NASCAR control arms, we've got a motor out of a probably a dump truck or a bus. Well, I'd say a dump truck, being a 427. And then we've got the 59 Triumph. And so we've got a mixed match of parts. But yeah, and well, we got 95 Corvette front spindles and rotors. So, you know, if you're going to do it cheap, that's about what you got to do. Now, somebody had said something about this X-frame. First, this X-frame absolutely weighs nothing. I mean, this steel is so thin. If I took this X-frame out, I could hold it up with 2 fingers, no problem. And so, yeah, it's going to stay in there. I'm going to do some changing, but I'm going to leave it in there. And the reason I'm going to do it is because I'm trying to keep this frame as stiff as I can keep it. And once I get the roll cage on, it's even going to stiffen it up more. But just kind of like the way it is. I like that the X member. I mean, it's going to help keep it from twisting for sure. So where we're at here, I need to finish up. I've got the machining done on the center. I've got the machining done on the rotor. I've got to make another plate for the caliper. We're going to get the other wheel together and on, and I'm going to try to get this set up where I can get the tires on it. So we'll keep pedaling away at it, but you know, we do have a rotor and caliper in and where it needs to be. So anyway, appreciate everybody watching, and we'll be back on it soon. Bye.